Good morning everyone. Today we will be talking about the features of Switzerland, which is one of the unit in our LLM constitutional law. Now here, as you know that the Switzerland is known as a very smaller country which is based in 101/3 of the area of the New York. It is one of the place in the New York. And it is consisting of a self-government. This self-government is very oldest government which is of past 300 years. Now this is the only country, or this is the one of the place where the direct democracy will be taken place. This is one of the only country in the whole universe which is consisting of a direct democracy. Next, the unification of this country has started in the year 1291 and it was ended in 1848. So it already took 400 years for having a direct democracy, self-government and also in a unification form. Now here the new constitution of this Switzerland came into force in the year 1st January 2000. This was the year which came into force in the Switzerland new constitution. Now let us go the main features of the Switzerland constitution. As you know that the Switzerland constitution is not adopted from any other constitution. Their fundamental rights are also taken from the Magna Carta, which not all the Magna Carta but some of the features of their silent features has been taken, or the fundamental rights has been taken from the Magna Carta. Now let us go some of the silent features of the Switzerland constitution. And Switzerland constitution is a written constitution. The written constitution, which was some of the part is adopted from other countries and some of the part is taken through their experiences, which was having a direct democracy from the year 1291 to 1848. First feature of the Switzerland silent features is it is a written constitution. The written constitution is started from the Article 7 and it is totally ended from 6. Their preamble, the constitution of the Switzerland has been started with the preamble, and the preamble is consisting of from their articles 1 to 6. It talks about their association with the freedom, it talks about their liberty, it talks about the property, it talks about the fundamental rights of every individual, which is taken as an integrity. It also consists of a federal system. It is the federal system where the powers of the federalism are distributed between the center and the state. Now, the written constitution also talk of the rights, okay, that is rule of the law from your article 7 to 36. In the next classes or in the next chapters, we will be talking about all these rights in a very elaborate manner. This is only the silent feature. So only we will be talking about the articles. And when we talk about the social welfare, this is a unique feature of the Switzerland constitution which talks in the article 41. Next we will be talking about the federalism. The federalism which we already said that it talks from your article 42 to 135. It talks about the democracy of the Switzerland constitution. It comes from your article 136 to 142. Now here, as you know that the main unique feature of the Switzerland constitution is your social welfare. So the Switzerland constitution has given more importance of the welfare of the citizens and the welfare of the state. Now the next point here is rigidity. The Switzerland constitution is too rigid. As we know that we discuss about the rigidity even in the US government. But in US government it is only a rigid constitution. And when we come to Switzerland constitution, it is too rigid constitution. But there are only two methods of the amendments. But when we come to Indian constitution, when we compare this India, USA and Switzerland, Indian constitution is both, that is flexible as well as in a rigid constitution. And even in India also, we have the amendment process in two ways, that is with simple majority and second point is with the special majority with the ratification of the legislative states. But here, when we come to rigidity, when we come about the methods of the amendments, how the amendments are made in the Switzerland constitution, here there are two methods as it is a very rigid constitution. The two methods is, one is referendum method, second one is initiative method. In referendum method, it says that the bill will be passed in the parliament of the Switzerland constitution, where the upper house, and as it is a bicameral, it consisting of both upper house and the lower house. When any bill is passed in the upper house, it has to be also to take the consent of the lower house. If any bills are passed in the lower house, then both the houses has to be taken into the recommendation, and ratification of the legislative decisions also will be taken into consideration. When we come to initiative process is nothing but the lower, that is the representatives of the states itself will take the initiative to pass the bill in the parliament. Now, we will go to the next one. It is in a republican constitution. Now, what it is a republican constitution? It has center and it also known as cantons. Cantons is nothing but the provinces or the states of the Switzerland, which is divided into center and the state. So that is the reason the Switzerland constitution is also called as bulwark of the Swiss democracy. This is the word which he used. So, of the republican constitution as a bulwark of Swiss democracy. Now let us go to the next point, which is also known as federalism. Now this is another unique feature of the Switzerland constitution. What is meaning of federalism? Federalism is nothing but the separation of the powers. The separation of the powers between the center and the state. That is, here we will say the word as cantons. The center and the cantons. As the center is strong, both are independent to each other. The cantons have their cantons legislatures. In the center they have the parliament, and the at the cantons level it is independent, and the center it is independent. But whenever and wherever it is necessary, they both are interdependent to each other to see that there is a social welfare of the country is taken into the consideration for the administrative part. Now, let us come to the federal. The federalism is nothing but the powers are divided between the center and the state. And here, the nations is taken as most important. All the national importance is taken. The national units or the national departments are taken into more importance. And the cantons is consisting of residuary powers, where these residuary powers is also, the cantons is very supreme, but they have some restrictions. In residuary powers also, the cantons is consisting of some restrictions. Now let us go to the next one. It is known as a democracy. Here it is the sovereign people of rule of law. The head will be there, who is known as the first executive of the constitution, and the head will have the powers to rule the country. And here the sovereignty is nothing but the people who rule the law. They talk about the rights and duties also. They have the fundamental rights, and which also they talks about the duties of the individuals. These are all rights and duties comes under the Switzerland constitution under the article 7 to 40. What are the things which comes under the rights are equality, freedom of movement, right to petition, then a residence, press, association, right to marriage, right to vote, and in the education. A right to vote comes under your adult suffrage. Any individual who is having 18 years and has completed the age of 18 years has the right to vote also. So these are the important rights and the duties of every individual, that they have their liberty with the restrictional process. Now we will go for the safeguard. Now the safeguard also talks about the Supreme Court, and they also respect their fundamental rights. Supreme Court says that it is supreme of law and land, where the Supreme Court is the judiciary power, and also they also respect their fundamental rights. Next one we will talk about their plural executive. That is, they have both the things. That is, in the plural executive they have 7 members, and these 7 members are elected, and these 7 members will be having the term period of 4 years. This is what about your plural executive. Next we will talk about your judiciary. Judiciary plays a very vital role in the Switzerland constitution, where the Switzerland talks about the federal assembly. So every center is having a supreme court and every canton is also having a high courts, which is taking the importance of that state, and the center will be taking the supreme court. All the judges are appointed by the president with the help of the advice of the members of the cabinet. Now we will go for the next one, bicameral legislature. All the cantons will have the bicameral. As we know that bicameral is nothing but consisting of two houses. One is your upper house and next one is your lower house. The upper house is known as the Council of the States, and this upper house is consisting of 46 members, and these 46 members are indirectly elected for this bicameral legislation. When we come to lower house, the lower house is known as National Council, and these National Council members, which consisting of 200 members, and these National Councils are directly elected by the people. So these are the special features of the Switzerland. Okay, Nani?